Alright, hey, welcome back to the channel. Now, in this series or set of videos that I'm about to start, I am thinking of creating somewhat of a management system. I'm looking, I'm looking mostly on time management or task management. So that's where the focus is at. But I haven't really structured this as much yet. It just came to mind, and I thought I'll just put it together. And for this the introduction, what I want to do is look at the tools that we'll be using to uh, to create our project. And we're going to be looking at something a little bit more complex in a sense. We'll be looking at creating APIs. So we're going to have a backend and a front end, and the APIs are going to be having the communication base between each of those. So that's really cool, and that's something that I'll be looking at. And the first tool that we'll need is XAMPP, and this is also pronounced XAMPP or whatever. This is a PHP server, and I think this one is for Windows. We also have LAMP or Linux, but I'll be using a Windows. And we also have another one called, I think it's WAMP, and that also is one of them, but I prefer to use XAMPP, and that is how I pronounce it. And we can find it at apachefriends.org, and you can go there and just download this thing. All of these stuff are free. All these applications, they are free. So what we'll be using this for is the Apache server. I don't think we need it for the framework that I'll be using, which is Laravel. I think it uses the Artisan framework, but we'll need the MariaDB to store our database information. We'll need PHP. So those are what we'll be using. You can click on whatever download your whatever operating system that you'll be using to download this thing, and we can uh, and you can move on from there. The next thing that we'll need is get composer, and you'll find that at getcomposer.org, and this is a PHP dependency manager. So all we need, this is what we'll be using to install Laravel to our system, getting a project, creating a project. So this is a pretty cool tool, and we have a lot. It manages like a lot of dependency or whatever. So this is a really good tool to have installed on your machine if you're doing development in PHP area and stuff like that. The next, I'm gonna just go into another package manager, and that's Nodejs.org, and this is something you probably would have seen in other videos that I would have made. And this is, I think this is more of a JavaScript package manager. Are Yeah, in a sense, are a lot of things, because I see that a lot of things are actually on this package manager. I'm not really sure if it's JavaScript based alone. And for the most recommended for users or whatever is the long-term support one. And this one here is more stable because these are ones that are like just currently coming out, and I have installed one of these before it broke my program or whatever, and I just switched back over to the LTS, and it worked fine. So you want to be careful in if you're downloading the current one. So always, in my opinion, always stick to the long-term support, and it will help you greatly. So this will be using to for Vuejs, because I think that's one of the front-end firmware that I'll be using. I was thinking about Nodejs, so I'll just keep that under consideration. But again, this is probably not going to be such a big project, and in my opinion, Nux is for something much larger. So let's move to the next thing that we'll need, and in that case, let's go to Laravel, and this is the PHP framework that we'll be using. And the reason why this can work on its own, as a can have a front end and as a front view and a back end or whatever. But the reason why I'm going to be using Vue.js is because I don't like the blade syntax, and that is what Laravel uses. And that is just my opinion. I'm not really that big a fan of it. I haven't really touched into it. I don't even know it that much. But looking at it, coming from core PHP, I don't really fancy it that much. I just don't like how it looks. And that's just my opinion. You don't really have to agree with that. That's just pretty much my opinion. And I'm just gonna show you now the installation and how simple it is. There are a couple ways I think you can install this. And again, as I was saying, Composer is I guess the main way that we can download this, and this is the installer. But what I normally use is this Composer command here that creates a project, and normally we just put this in our HD docs, which will come from the XAMPP server installation. And this uses artisan, which is some PHP thing that helps with server and many other things that well works with Laravel, which is really good. In my opinion, that is something that I like about PHP is the artisan, which really helps a lot with structure and all for your project. So this will be the backend that we'll be using to communicate with like the database and stuff like that. So the next thing that we'll need is Vuejs. So this is our another framework. So this is a JavaScript framework. Laravel is a PHP framework. So Vuejs, I'm pretty sure you would have seen this on the channel before. So this is our JavaScript framework that and unlike Laravel in a sense, the 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 looking at the code from I would prefer the core PHP than the blade syntax, while with Vuejs the syntax for Vuejs is really cool in regards to the core vanilla JavaScript. Uh, I'm not gonna say that I don't like the core JavaScript, but Vuejs, I guess, in a sense, is much easier to read and stuff like that. It's really great. A really great framework, in my opinion, at least. I will be using the CLI, so this is the core view. We'll be using the CLI, so we can just go to cli.vuejs.org and to create the project. Probably would have shown this already. All we have to do is have this install, and how we'll have that is by using the Node Package Manager, which is right here. And once you have Node.js installed, then you can install the Vue CLI, and then we can create a project uh, and do that. You can also use Yarn. Have this, but I don't really use it. So add it to globally to your computer or your machine, whatever that you use. Another thing that will be a great use in this thing, and for the front end, will need some sort of designing and styling. So for the CSS framework that I'll be using is going to be Vuetifyjs. It's.org. I think it's .com. So it's Vuetifyjs, which is a Vue-based framework, CSS framework, JavaScript CSS framework, or whatever. So this has, and it's component based. So this has some stuff like nav bars and all different kind of stuff that are functional that you can just add into your project to make it look a lot better. It's a really good framework in my opinion for CSS. It's a little bit heavy in terms of um, size and stuff like that. So if I'm loading like next project, when I look at it, when it's like probably stop for a minute just to load this thing. So that's one problem that I find with it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I may or I may not move from it and move to Tailwind CSS, which is a utility first CSS framework, and which is much lighter in my from what seen because it's utility first and this is component based. So that's something that actually taken into consideration now. But I really like the Vuetify CSS framework here. So if we should look here, it's pretty simple. When we install, when we create our new Vue project, all we have to do, so this is all we have to do. When we create Vue, create the project, and then we just say Vue add Vuetify to the project, and that's how simple it is to add this CSS framework to your Vue application. And that's pretty much that, and I'll leave the links for all of these for you to be able to check them out. Another thing, another application that we'll use is Postman. I think it's postman.org or it's .com. I think it's .com. Not sure, but this is a API. This is used for testing API and stuff like that. So this will help with our talk between the front end of our framework, which will be Vue, and the back end of our framework, or application, I should say, which will be Laravel. So that is how we'll be using Postman here to just to test that the API is working properly and stuff like that, and so we'll be better able to manage the content and ensure that everything is working before we push it to our application. So we just want to ensure that it is working. That's basically API testing and stuff like that. I will get into all of this when we actually start the project. So that is pretty much all the tools that we'll need, and yeah, I'll still considering making an installation video for all of these, and you'll be able to see that once I make a firm decision. That is pretty much it for the tools, because I can't remember anymore that we'll need right now. But that is pretty much it, and I'll see you in the videos coming up. So thanks for watching.